Hey everybody, Ed Casper here. Casper Ag Solutions is the name of our company, and today we're back out in the shop and we're going to talk a little bit about corn planters and some real simple economics and different way to look at things. So what we've got here, a Kinze 3600 12 row, I call it a twist and shout. It was springs for downforce and finger pickup. It had hydraulic drive. As you can see, it's an air seed delivery system. It's a nice little planter. And the farmer went in and we are going to speed tube, V-drive, and delta force. We're putting 2 smart firmers on there too and a Gen 3 monitor. So let's give you a little backstory. This farmer, he's closer to 2,000 acres than he is to 1,000. So a 12 row was really stretching his efficiency. And he wanted the best performance out of one planter instead of having average performance out of 2 planters. He's in a transition right now where he's starting to really take over for his dad in the operation. And Dad always had a nice planter, run it 3 years or 5 years, trade it in, get a new planter, let the OEM dealer set it up because, well, they're the dealer, run it 3 years or 5 years, trade it in, get another one. And that worked for Dad. He did a great job for a long time, paid his bills, pretty good living for the kids. But now that the next generation's coming in, we want a little bit more. And when we set up this project and we priced it out and everything, you can imagine Dad's reaction. He was a little bit taken aback and wasn't sure what it all meant. And, well, why do you need that? Well, you're looking at performance. So one of the really smart farmers in my area taught me this lesson when you talk about equipment. He talks about a triangle of ownership. So you have interest, depreciation, and repairs. That's your triangle. And we're trying to make that triangle as small as possible, all 3 sides as short as we can, and control that. Now, how you get there is up to you. New equipment, older equipment, fix my own equipment, have new equipment, that's up to you, but we want to make that triangle of ownership really small. Now take that one step further with your corn planter, and I think you need to take that triangle and make it a square. And that 4th leg is the losses that you have on your operation that you don't write a check for. So, you know that if you run over a set of antlers and you ruin that tire, you got to write a check for that. That hurts. You remember that money that you had to spend. When you lose yield or spacing, singulation, emergence, ear size, kernel depth, blah, 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 you know you could have done better, but you can't quite put a dollar amount on that because you didn't have to write a check for the pain. There's your difference. So your triangle of ownership for a normal piece of equipment and then your square of ownership, this is that invisible cost that is costing you real money even though you're not writing a check. And this farmer, he wants to get as much control over that as possible. And an extension of that is his dad said, well, what are you going to do when you go to trade that in and it's got all this aftermarket stuff on it? And I'm like, well, why would you trade it in? You've got your liquid tanks, you've got air seed delivery, you've got a really good bar. If you've got a good bar, there's no reason to just hurry up and trade in this planter. If you've got a good bar, put new row units on it. Move the precision components over to the new row units. You still got a good bar. Now your corn planter, instead of 3 years or 5 years, your corn planter is lasting you 10 years, 12 years, 15 years. And he's still able to build out, we could put floating row cleaners and clean sweep on, we could put furrow force on, we could put the depth system on here. There's lots of things we can add as we go along. He's not just limited to these 3 products. So he's got a planter. If he was to buy a new one versus what it cost for us for these upgrades, you're probably at 40 cents on the dollar. And if you're a farmer that you've got to turn a certain amount of money each year, take that extra money that you saved on your corn planter and put it towards your combine. Because we all know combines are built to shake apart. So this is just one example. We've got a 24-row red one out there, and we've got another 24-row. I think we're doing a full makeover, and I think that one's headed to Texas, and we got all kinds of stuff happening. But feel free to give me a shout, 309-208-0117. We're here all the time. And I'd love to talk to you guys about the economics of what we're trying to do and how we can take this corn planter, make it your customized hot rod, and make it last 10 to 15 years and let all that money go to your bottom line. So with that, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you soon.